Hi everybody, welcome back to Floss and Media. This channel is all about the floss. In today's video, we'll be creating a script to generate random passwords using Python, and we'll be using the secrets module. If you would like to read more about it, you can just open up the browser and search for secrets Python. And maybe I'll just do that now. And just click on the first link to go to the Python docs. And here we have it. Secrets. Generate secure random numbers for managing secrets. And we can also obviously use this for other characters other than just numbers. So the secrets module is used for generating cryptographically strong random numbers suitable for managing data such as passwords, account authentication, secret tokens, and related secrets. And if we scroll down a bit here, we can see this is the one we'll be using, secrets.choice. And that'll return a randomly chosen element from a non-empty sequence. Sounds a bit confusing, but you'll see how it works when we get to it. And here we have different modules too for generating the full password. And we'll be doing this a little bit differently. So instead of generating the full password, we're just going to generate each character at a time and then just link them all together to form a string, which will be our password. To me, this seems just a little bit more safer doing each character at a time and then just squeezing them all together, other than using a module to generate the full password for us. This way we can just do one character at a time, and then it doesn't get stored anywhere as the full length password that we'll be using. So if we scroll down a bit more here, yeah, best or practices and some more good stuff. Yeah, if you want to read more, go nuts. But for now, I think I'll just switch over the terminal. We can get started. And before we do, maybe I'll just show you the finished product before we get started here. And to do that, I'll just type in the name of the script. And I called mine key generator. And once that's in there, I'll hit enter. And that'll launch it. And you can see here we have 7 different types of strings. Everything from lowercase to uppercase, digits, letters, digits mixed, symbols only, and all punctuation. So maybe just for this example, I'll try hexadigit, which is letters and digits mixed. So for that, I'll just use the option S5, as you can see right here. So once I have it in there, I'll just hit enter, and then it asks me how long I want the string. So I'll just use 16 for this example, and that generates a string. And say I don't like that one and I just want to rerun it, I can just use the Y option, hit enter, and that generates a new key. And say that's the one I want right there, I'll just use the N option for no, and that'll dump us out and give us the final value right there, along with how many characters long the string is. Yeah, and that's about it. Maybe I'll just try one more example with all punctuation. So if I rerun the script, and for all char, I'll use the S7 option right here. So I'll just type that in, S7. And the length, I'll just use 16 again. And there we go. There's the random generator password, 16 characters long. And I can rerun this if I don't like it. And then once I find what I want to use, I'll just use the N option for no, hit enter. And then it dumps us out with the final value right there. And this also, I've also included error handling in this. So if I run it again, and say I entered a value that isn't in the list like that, I'll hit enter. It says format not found. Please try again. I'll try it once more. Nope, still not found. Once more, still not found. And then I'll try, say, S3 for just uppercase characters. And then for the length, I'll put in a non-found value again. It says integer not found. Please try again. No, it's not an integer. Please try again. Please try again. So now I'll put in a value, and then it gives us our final result. So Yep, with that, I'll clear this out and we can start the script. So the first thing we need to do is create the Python file. And we can do that many ways, but for us today, I'm going to be using the touch command. And before I do that, I'm just going to cd into the directory where I want to run it from. That would be my Python modules. And yeah, like I said, I'm just going to use touch. And then the name of your file. For me, it's going to be keymaker.py. Hit enter. And now if I ls-l, we should see it in there. And there it is right there. But as you can see, it's not executable yet. And we'll definitely need to do that if we want to run it. So to do so, we can just use the change mod command. So chmod +x, and the name of your file. And now if we ls-l, yep, we can see it right there. And it's now executable. So now I'll clear this out. And then you can just open up the file in any text editor you like. It could be anything from Microsoft Notepad to Visual Studio, Sublime, whatever you like. But for me today, I'll be using Sublime. And to do that, I can just use this command right here. So it's just subl keymaker.py, and then I'll hit enter. And it opens up in Sublime. And the first thing we'll need to do is create the shebang. And in case you don't know, the shebang is used to specify which interpreter will be used to run the script by default. And to do this, we can just use the pound symbol, the exclamation mark, and then the path to your Python 3. And to find the path, you can just go over to the terminal and type which Python 3. And there's our path right there. And I'm just going to copy that. Go over to Sublime, paste that in there, and we have our shebang. So now with that settled, we can continue by importing some modules. So the modules we'll need are string and secrets. So and just in order to make sure that those are installed, I'm just going to run this and make sure we don't get any errors. So for me, that'll be Control B. And you can see down here, finished in 0.1 seconds. So we didn't get any errors, so we should be good to go. In case you did get some errors here though, like say for the secrets module, and that would typically mean that you don't have it installed on your system. And to do so, you can do that with pip. And I'll just show you that in the terminal now quick. So to install a module, like say secrets, you can just go pip 3 install secrets. And I use pip 3 because I also have pip 2 installed on my system. So I have to specify pip 3 for Python 3 when I install different modules. But if you only have Python 3 on your system, just the pip command should do just fine. And I'm not going to run that just because I already have it installed. But yep, that's how you install the modules in case you get any errors. So I'll just jump back over to Sublime. And the next thing we'll have to do is create our list. And this will just be a list of options that we display to the user, such as lowercase, uppercase, digits, symbols, hexadecimal, all that good stuff. And I guess I'll just call mine string formats. And this list may look a little bit funny because eventually we're going to be formatting into 2 different columns. So just in case why you're wondering why I'm typing it out like this, when we go to format it later on, it'll just become much more clear, and I'm sure you'll understand. So I guess the first option we can go with is alpha, and that'll include lower and uppercase letters. So, and in case you're wondering why I'm using S1, that'll just be the option that the user can enter to display that type of string without having to write out the entire thing. Yeah, just to make everything a little more user friendly. So yeah, I'll call this alpha. Maybe the next one could be alpha lower. So, this will just be lowercase letters only. Next one can be alpha upper. And this will, of course, be uppercase letters only. And then we have digits. So it'll just be digits only. And then after digits, we have hexadecimal, which will be letters and digits. So go hex digit. And then after that, we have symbols. And after that, we can use all punctuation. And I'll just call it all char. And that's our list. And I think what we're going to do here is I'll just move this over a bit so it all lines up nice. That looks a bit better. And then I'll add a print statement. And I guess we can try to run this and see how it looks. I'll save that. And I'll just jump over the terminal. And let's run it. As you can see, that list doesn't look too user-friendly. But eventually, this right here will be on one column, and then this one will be beside it, and so on. So yeah, it'll look much better than it does now. But just in case you're wondering, I'll jump back over to Sublime. Now that we have that taken care of, we just have to create a list with values that we want the user to input. And this will just take care of some error handling later on. That way, if the user enters a value that isn't in the list, they'll get our error message instead of Python's big ugly one. To do that, we just have to create a list with values that we want the user to input. And then we can use an if statement later on, saying that if the user doesn't use one of these, to do this. So I'll start the list here. I'll just call it string list. And these will just be the values that we want the user to use. So S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6, and S7. And that should take care of the string types. And we also want to add an option for the user to be able to select how many characters they want in their password. And we need to also create an empty value in case the user doesn't enter anything and they just hit enter, or they use a value that isn't numerical. That way they'll get our error message instead of the one that their system or Python will provide for them, which should look a lot nicer. So I'm just going to say chart count equals empty. So yeah, now with that done, we can format our list. And because remember before it looked kind of ugly, everything was all on one line. So now we can break that up into 2 different columns and everything should look much nicer. So I'll do that. Let's use print. Backslash n, we'll just bump it down a line. And this will just be underlined. And now we need a for loop because we want to go through each different value and tell the system where we want it to be displayed on the screen. So for A, B, and zip. String formats. This will just specify that we want 2 different columns. And then and that's it. I guess I'll save that. And now if we jump over the terminal and run this, yeah, that looks much nicer. Now everything in 2 columns. It should be a lot more intuitive than it was before. So I'll clear this out. And we'll go back to Sublime. And now with that done, we'll have to create a couple variables. And the purpose of these variables is just collect information from the user, such as the format type of the string. And that would be exactly what kind of format that they want their password in, such as lowercase, uppercase, digits, whatever. And the second one will be for the amount of characters that they want in that password. So to do that, I'll just go back over to Sublime. And for the first input will be for the string format. And I'll just call it format type, I guess. Equals input. Let me see how I want to do this here. Maybe -n just to push it down one line. And S1 to S7, because those are all our options. \T, we'll just tab it over. And we'll have to also do this in a while loop. So that way, if the user puts in a value that isn't in our list, it'll just repeat and prompt them over again to ask them to put in a different or correct value that's in our list. So while format type not in string list, which is right here. So if the user puts in a value that isn't in this list, this is what it's going to do. So now we'll print X format not found. \n to bring it down a line. And please try again. And then the format type equals input string type S1 to S7. Okay, so we're first going to ask the user for the string type, and it'll say S1 to S7. And then if they input a incorrect value, it'll just print format not found. Please try again. And then it'll just give them the input all over again. So now with that input created, we'll be able to accept input from the user as to which type of string they'd like to create for their password. And before we move on, let's give it a test. So to do that, I'm just going to print out the variable. And save it. I'll jump back over the terminal and give it a run. So, and I also forgot to mention too, I think that if you're trying to run your script exactly the way I am right here, with just the name and the extension, and it's not working, it could be because you've forgotten the ./ like that. The only reason I'm able to run it without that is because I created a path in my bash RC, and the Windows equivalent to that would be to create an environment variable. And that'll just allow you to run the script from anywhere within your system, and you won't need to use the / either. But if you're on Windows, you won't be using the / anyways. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that in case you're having some issues. So let's get an enter. And to test this out, I'm first going to enter in a value that that will fail, that's not in our list, just to make sure our error handling is doing what it's supposed to. So for now, I'm just going to put in some gibberish and hit enter. And perfect. Format not found. Please try again. Maybe I'll just try it once more just to be sure. Yep, looks good. So now I'll try a value that's actually in our list. And if this works, it should just print out S1. Yep, perfect. And print it out right there. So yeah, that looks good. So I'll clear this out and go back to Sublime. Now we can create our variable for the character count as to how many characters they want in their password. So I can get rid of this. And it's also a just good practice to leave comments, which I am not doing. And maybe I'll do that right now. And this will be format type. And go here. And this will be char count. So to do this, we're also going to use a while loop. And we're first going to check whether this variable is empty or not. So if the user just puts in doesn't put in a value and just hits enter and leaves the string empty, this will catch that error. So let's do that. So while char count equals empty. Yeah, we can use a try and except here too, I guess. So try count equals input. And then I'm going to use, just tab it over a bit, a couple / t's there. And then after we accept the input from the user, in case you don't already know, an input always returns a string. So before we can use this value, we'll actually have to convert it back into an integer. So to do that, you can just go char count equals int char count. And then we'll need the except. So if the try doesn't work, this is what it'll do. Except. And the type of error that we're looking for, if the user puts in, say, letters instead of numbers, it will most likely be a value error. And this isn't absolutely necessary, but it's just good practice, so why not? So I'll put in value, error. And see the text color change there? So I guess Sublime knows what we're trying to do here. And so if the first condition doesn't work, we'll print \n just to push it over or push it down a line. X integer not found. \n to bump it down. And then please try again. And bump it down a line. And then if the first condition doesn't work, and say they are entering values that are not numbers, but they do still enter something in and it's not empty, we'll just want to rerun this input again until they enter a correct value. So I'll say char count equals empty. That way it'll just run again. So yeah, I think that looks good. So I'm just going to save it. And then maybe we can test it out. And to do that, I'll just do it the same way that we did with the format type, and I'll just print it out. So print, might as well do format type again. And print char count. I'll give that a save. And then jump over to the terminal. And let's give it a run. So, and we already proved this out, but I'll just do it again. And see, I accidentally hit enter and entered a empty value and did the same thing. It just prompted us to try again. So this time I'll put in a real value. So S1. And the length, we want to use a dummy value here too. So hopefully if I just put in some gibberish here and hit enter, it'll go back and just say integer not found. So I hit enter. Yep, integer not found. Please try again. I'll try once more just for good measure. Yep, same thing. And now we'll try a real value. So a number, 16. So if this works and everything's good, we shouldn't see any errors, and it should just print out the number 16 for us. So I'll just do that now and hit enter. Yep, there we go right there. So S1, that's our format type. And then 16 is our character count that we just entered in our second input. So yeah, all that looks good. I'll clear this out and head back over to Sublime. So now that we've created our user inputs, we'll just have to create or convert whatever the user gives us into the values that the secrets modules use. And these will be for S1, S2, S3, on down the line to S7 values. And yeah, once I get started here, they'll see what I mean. So we can get rid of this stuff right here and add a comment. Input conversions. So S1 will equal string.ascii letters. And this will obviously be for upper and lowercase. And then we'll do one for just lowercase. So S2 equals and then we'll do one for uppercase. And then one for digits. And then we'll need one for letters and digits. And this will be a hexadecimal value, so we can use hex for this. String dot, hex digits. Value for hex. And then we'll need one for symbols. Punctuation. And that'll be for symbols. And then we'll need one for all of these. So if the user wants uppercase, lowercase, digits, and symbols, we can just add them all together. So we can go S7 equals S2 plus S3 plus S4 plus S6. And note that we're not using S1 or S5. That'll be because we already have lowercase and uppercase included. So we won't need hex, and we won't need ASCII letters either. So yeah, that should work just fine. And now that we have all those in there, maybe just to test it out, we can print it. So I'll just go print S1 plus, I just do new lines, so they are, after I print all these out, it won't all just be jumbled onto one line. Each entry will have its own line. So I just make it a little bit easier to understand when we're trying to read it. So plus S2 plus new line plus S3 plus a new line plus S4 plus a new line plus S5 plus new line plus S6 plus new line plus S7. So with that, let's see what we get. So I'll just save this, go over to the terminal, and we'll run our script. And this value doesn't even matter because we're just going to print them all out at the end anyways. So let's put an S1 and length, say 16. And there's all our values right there. So that'd be S1, S2, S3, 4, and 6, and 7. So yep, that's what the conversions are. So instead of having to put in all this stuff or having to put in string.ascii, lowercase, uppercase, whatever, we can just use S1, S2, S3 through to S7. And that'll give us all these values. So this is what S7 entails right here. So that's all uppercase, lowercase, numbers and digits, and symbols. And yeah, all that looks good. So I'll just clear this out and go back to Sublime. So with all that out of the way, what we'll need to do now is convert our format type variable into an object. Because like I mentioned before, an input only returns a string. And if we get a string back from a user, all we can do pretty much is just display it out to the screen. But if we want to do something with it, we'll need to turn it into an object. And to do that, I'll just get rid of this stuff right here. And we can use the eval module. So I can say format type equals eval format type. And that should do the trick. And with that out of the way, I guess we can get to our main function. So maybe I'll just define it. So what we want to do here is you want to take the variables from the format type. And I guess I'll just go through use a for loop. So then we can just use the range argument, and just pass in whatever our char count is. And then it will just repeat for that many times. So say that the char count is 16. The script will run 16 times, generating one character each time until we get to our full length password. So you'll see what I mean here once I get moving. So I'm just going to call this variable password equals dot join. And what that'll do is it'll just remove all the white space. So normally if we didn't use dot join, each character would be on its own line. So if it's 16 characters or 16 characters long, it'll use 16 lines to print it out. And we don't want to do that. So what dot join will do is it'll just remove all the white space and push everything all into one line. So dot join. And here's where we use the main the module from secrets. And that'll be secrets.choice. So like so. And then we want to use format type. And then we can start our for loop. So say for I in range, and then char count. And then we'll want to count each character as it's doing it. And we could get this from our char count variable, but I'd rather do it this way. It just seems like the best approach to it, because then we're counting each character as it's generating it, instead of just taking our word for it from the initial variable, if that makes any sense. So I can do that right here. So pass, I'll just call it pass count equals length password. And that should give us how many characters are in the sequence. So, and then before we print that out, we'll just have to turn it into a string. So pass count equals str pass count. And then we'll print it out. So print, bump this down a line. Randomized key. Maybe tab it over. Plus password. Plus, we'll add a space here, or a couple spaces. Do that. And another space. Just trying to think of how to make it look nice here. Pass count. And yeah, I think that should be good. So yeah, to run this, I'll maybe just add execution. And I think we'll do the if name and main thing here. So if name, what am I doing? Name equals main Run main. And I think we're just about done here. Oh yeah, let's save it and see what we got. And I'll jump over the terminal. Key maker.py. So I'll try S1. And then the length, let's just try 8. And there we go. There's our randomized key. Maybe run it again. Try with S2. 8. And yep, that's all lowercase. You can see our first result here was lower and uppercase. And second one's lowercase. So let's try the third one, alpha upper. So go S3, 8. Yep. Right there. 8 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's try digits. So S4. Let's try 12 this time. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks good to me. So what's next here? Let's try hex digits. So this will be letters and digits. So that will be S5, 12. And yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so that's letters, uppercase, lowercase, and digits. So let's try symbols. So it'll be S6. And well, let's try 20. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 19, 20. Perfect. And the last one we have is all punctuation. So let's try that. And that would be S7. And let's just try 8. So yeah, we got symbols, letters. I don't see any lowercase in there. Let's maybe try a longer one. Keymaker 7. Let's try 16. And yeah, there's a lowercase n and a lowercase c, uppercase, lowercase, and symbols. Yep, yeah, everything looks good. So the only thing I want to do now is add a function that will repeat this. So say we don't like this password and we don't want to rerun the whole thing over again. We can just stick a function in there to ask us if we want to rerun. And then, yeah, that should be much easier. So I'll clear this out and I'll go back to Sublime. So fine, rerun. And tab it over a bit. And then we'll need a if statement. So if rerun is equal to y, run main. Else print final results. And maybe I'll just underline that. And a lot of line at the top here too. And just like so. And then another line. generated key, tab it over, plus password, plus down one line, tab it over, plus our pass count. And that'll print. A couple lines down. Thank you for using KeyMaker. Well, like so. Actually, give an exclamation mark there. Bump it down a line. And yeah, I think that's it. Maybe we'll just take one of these out though. And then to run it, the rerun, we can just go rerun. Just like that. And I think that is about it. Just let me double check here quick. Final results, password, yeah, password, and pass count. Yeah, it looks good to me. I guess I'll just save it, and then we can jump over the terminal and try to run it. So, jump over the terminal. Okay, so let's see what we ended up with here. So I guess the first one, I'll just try S1 for lower and uppercase. And just 8, I guess, for easy counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, looks good. Let's try that again with the next option. Alpha lower, so S2. And 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks good. And get rid of that. And next one will be alpha upper, so S3. And 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All good. Try the next one. And that would be digits, so S4. And 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And get rid of that. And next one would be hexadecimal. S5 and 8. So yeah, we got letters, numbers, both lowercase and uppercase letters. So yeah, looks good to me. I'll rerun it. All good. And what do we got next? Symbols, so S6. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so far so good. And the last one we have is all punctuation. So that'd be S7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Run it. Yeah, looks good. Nope. And now I'm just trying to think of a way that we can break it. But I don't think there's much to break. Not to give myself a pat on the back. It's just not that big of a script. So let's just try a bunch of stuff here. Bunch of letters, bunch of numbers, bunch of letters, bunch of numbers. Oh, format not found. Please try again. That's exactly what we're hoping for. So let's try to break the numbers, the char count. Yeah, looks good. Empty value. Yeah, looks good. String length 10. And do we want to run again? Nope. And I don't know, know. Let's just try a really, really big value. So keymaker S7, and let's try 1024 and see what happens there. And there's no way I'm counting those. But what I can do is I have a another script that just counts characters. So maybe I'll try that. So I'll just copy this. And we're looking for 1024. So go over to the terminal. And maybe I'll just make this a bit bigger. So chart count. And paste that in here. Shit. Sorry. I'll try that again. Paste that in here. And hit enter. Perfect. 1024. And I think that's it. Yeah, sure. Let's try to run this again. Yeah, looks good. So I'll just enter no and clear it out. And I think I'll call it a day. So yeah, for now, I don't think there's really anything more we can add to this. And I think that's done. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and checking out the channel. I hope you guys were able to get something from this and use it. And yeah, just thanks again. And I guess I'll hope to see you next time. And bye for now.